The Hamish and Andy Show podcast. Powered by Amy. Lucky you're with Amy.
Do the words dual broadcast mean anything to you?
No.
Do the words radio first mean anything to you?
No.
Do the words two shows become one mean anything to you?
No.
What are we teaching these children?
Well, we can't teach them about something that's never happened before. For millennia, a simple radio format has never been toyed with.
One studio, one show, and that's that.
But now, what you thought you knew about broadcasting
Radio teams are not friends. Radio presenters don't work together.
Radio shows stay separate.
will change forever.
You must be crazy.
This year, and more specifically, this day, two shows will join hands
Christian, do you take thy Hamish and Andy?
to broadcast across the oceans
Hamish and Andy, do you take thy Christian?
in a world radio first. Christian O'Connell,
British guy.
Hamish and Andy,
Australian guy.
together for the first time.
Except for when I had them on the show a couple of years ago.
Besides that,
Besides that time.
two shows become one
Yes.
for a dual broadcast
Yes.
in a radio first.
Yes.
Hamish and Andy driving you home in Australia, and the Christian O'Connell Breakfast Show in the UK on Absolute Radio, live from London.
As I was listening to that, I'm thinking, actually, one, we haven't got time for anything else.
Oh, that was it. That was
That's it. Bye-bye,
just
everyone.
one transcontinental pre-recorded opener, and that'll do us for 2 hours.
But also, I was thinking, actually, why are we doing this? As he went through the list of why it shouldn't be done, I was agreeing with them all. Why are we here doing this now?
From the get-go, the confusion reigns in the studio. Here we are in London, Hamish and Andy sitting in your studio, Christian O'Connell. It's breakfast time here in London. It's
And I should be saying good afternoon.
We should be saying good
everybody
afternoon.
in Australia.
It's
Yeah.
weird seeing 7:05 on the wall because in Australia it's 4:05. Already, there's about 9 people in here before that went to air. You know in Apollo 13 where they have to get the ship back to Earth with a
the
vacuum
small
cleaner?
box, yes.
Everyone's throwing in ideas. Press next. Don't press self-destruct. Why do we even have that button?
A vacuum cleaner was brought in. He said, "Does anyone
Guys,
need
if I
this?"
pulled the filter out of this, could we talk to Australia through that? I don't know.
So we should just explain then. We are live across the UK right now, and
Yeah.
this is the Christian O'Connell Breakfast Show. And then we need to say welcome to everyone listening right across Australia.
Yes. Yeah.
And we are driving Australia home.
Yes.
We are.
So Australia has had Friday.
Australia
had
is
it-
ready for the weekend.
Wow, so they're in the future.
But let's
Yes.
not think
And guess
for a
what,
So hang
Christian?
on a minute, let's make this more complicated. We are a time-travelling radio show now.
And from the future, guess what? Things turn out pretty well for you.
It's okay.
Is it good?
Yeah,
by 3 o'clock this afternoon.
We talked to some people in Australia. We haven't quite got flying cars, but they're jumping really high by this afternoon.
Have you got jetpacks by this afternoon?
Yeah, that happens at about 12:15 this afternoon.
Really, lunchtime?
Everyone has lunch, gets jetpacks, and then really one of the hot topics over afternoon tea was, how about those jetpacks?
Okay, so for the next 2 hours then, we're doing a breakfast show and drive time show.
I just realised, though, we have essentially rubbed it into our UK friends. We've essentially said, yes, Australia have knocked off. They've got a beer in hand right now.
Yeah.
And that's what people are waking up to.
I've got to be honest, a lot of my audience will be drinking right now as well.
And we encourage that. And I think there's nothing, I mean, when you're knocking off, when you're going home, you finish a long day of work in Australia, you want to hear London traffic. You want to hear London news.
Of course they do.
You want to know what they...
You've been listening to the focus groups.
That's the thing that our show has been missing all these years, and finally today we've got it.
Hamish and Andy.
Driving you home across Australia.
Oh,
When we point to you, you say your show, Christian.
and Christian O'Connell on Absolute Radio, waking you up.
Well, this is weird because I feel like we have to keep saying we're in London.
How about
which is not weird for you, Christian, because you do a show from London all the time, and it would be.
It's outside the window right now.
It'd be odd if every morning you went, Christian O'Connell, I live London.
No, I'm going to try that out next week to really irritate people, to remind them where I am.
To make it sound like you're a competition
Yeah.
winner every morning.
Do you know what I think we should do then with the songs? I should go Hamish and Andy driving you home.
You want to try that?
Sounds better than when Andy does it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't-
my
you saw
mum
straight
has
through
wanted
it.
me to speak like you for years. Come on, there's been so many sultanas on my tongue through my late teens. No, I think we should point out to everyone, if you've just tuned in, welcome, by all means, welcome. But yes, this show's going out live to Australia in the afternoon at the moment, as well as it's going to Britain at the same time. We hope.
Kuala Lumpur will get it on delay tomorrow.
Well, I've also just got an email from someone who's listening to... they listen to both of our podcasts, so now they're actually confused hearing this show in Canada. We can't deal with the time zone, and at another continent, it's enough at the moment with just us and Australia.
Isn't that funny? So here we are thinking that we've done, this sort of great thing for everyone. Oh, we've combined two shows, never been done before. But to one person in the world that listens to both our podcasts, we've ripped them off.
Yes.
Rather than two podcasts, now they just get one this week.
That's genius, though. We've halved the workload.
We have, and we also thought we'd start with a community service today for everybody listening in Australia and, of course, Britain, Christian.
Yeah, well, I thought, because there's we have so many people that live in Australia, a lot of expats out there right now listening to us, and I know the cost of an international call is very expensive.
Crazy.
So we can use this beautiful platform we've created today for people who want to make a free international call from London to anywhere in Australia.
Yeah, we'll cover the cost for anywhere. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, cap
Budget
cities,
we've
cap
got on
cities.
this.
Cap cities. I mean, we can't put you through
Imagine
regularly.
we just did reverse charges, or you call it, we're just listening. But also, for everyone listening in Australia, if there's anyone in this fine country, maybe call up Elizabeth Windsor or something, because she's got the Diamond Jubilee in 2 weeks'
that'd be
time.
nice.
If you've got the number, we'll connect the call.
Exactly.
We might actually do a fairly long intro, too.
So the number for us, Christian, which I'm not sure if you're aware of, is 131060. People in Australia, if they call 131060 now, if they have a message for anyone in London, we will connect the call. The only catch being we get to listen. As
Don't worry about
everybody.
it. If it's private, though, we can absolutely
What
forget
about
what we
if it's
hear.
a booty call? What are we getting involved
Fantastic.
in? Oh, right.
I mean,
Okay.
let's be honest, that's what we're going for here.
All right, and
But like we said, it's Friday afternoon in Australia. I mean, probably not going to get a lot of early morning booty calls here in London.
So
You never know.
So 131060 for Australians, if you have someone you desperately need to get in touch with in the UK. And what's the number for you guys?
0330 123 1215. If you're in Canada, we cannot help. All right, let's try this then. We've got an amazing opportunity today as two radio shows combined to create one mega show. Okay, live across the UK and live across Australia right now. It's Hamish and Andy driving home, and then Christian O'Connell waking you up. We thought, well, what better way to use the thing for good today and offering you a free international call to Australia. Now, Christina.
Yes.
Christina, welcome to Radio History.
Thank you very much.
So where are you in this country?
I am in Leamington.
Oh, right in the middle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hamish was just
The
told
furthest
that.
away from the
this
sea as possible.
You will find Christina and welcome, but you'll find that Hamish will often pass other people's facts off as his own.
Did Christian say that before, did he?
Christian, we had to find out where Leamington was. Christian explained, and now you're
I thought it sounded delicious, by the way. Lamington sounds just lovely. It
sounds like a cake.
It does sound amazing.
So, Christina, who is the person in Australia that you're desperately in need to get in contact with?
Look, I'm desperately in need to get in contact with my mum.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what we're here
Now,
for.
first of all, before we make this call, is there anything we need to know about the nature of this call?
Well, pretty much every morning she'll call me on my way to work, but most days she'll forget. So this morning I'm going to remind her.
So every single morning you speak to your mum?
Yep.
That's lovely.
You're exactly the kind of person we need to cover the cost of a call for, because your phone bills must be outrageous.
Christina, what's your mother's name?
Atha.
Atha.
Is there a bit missing off the end of it?
It's Athanasia, but it's a bit easier.
We'll go with Atha.
Okay.
For first instinct's always the best.
Okay, Christina, let's try calling your mother in Australia, Atha.
And whereabouts in Australia is she?
Melbourne.
But the reason we're all pausing is because right
I think
about
actually
now,
one of the guys has actually just called her up.
We've got our control
Is she
room
there?
going crazy.
Hello, Atha, London calling. Is that Atha?
Hello. Yes, it is.
Atha, we've got your daughter Christina on the line here. It's Hamish
Sounds
and
like a
Andy.
hostage call.
Yeah, but we've got to let you know she's safe and free to go at her own will. She's just a bit worried that you didn't call her this morning. Christina, take it away.
Hi, Mum. Didn't speak to you
Hi,
last
sweetheart.
night.
How are you,
I'm
darling?
fine. I'm fine,
sorry
thanks.
I haven't called yet.
No, I'm just saying, don't forget to call me in 25 minutes.
Oh, hang
Okay,
on.
oh.
No, this is the call.
They're going, this line isn't safe. I think there are
You know
people
what?
listening to
After
us.
that call, we can just have our conversation now.
Thanks, boys. I just saved me the cost of a call.
Well, that's what we're doing there, Arthur.
It's as if she got fed the
thank
line.
you.
Yeah. This segment.
So you two chat away as if millions all over the world, 2 continents, are not listening.
Hi,
What could be more
Christy.
natural?
Hi, Mum.
How are you, darling?
I'm good. How are you?
That's my girl. Good. It's a miserable day here in Melbourne.
Well, miserable day here too.
Oh, well, there you go.
How's Diesel?
Hey, Diesel's good. He's a
Sorry,
Oh my God, the artist. Is that Vin Diesel or the artist Diesel?
That's my dog. Diesel.
I thought you had Johnny
Right.
Diesel at your house.
How is Diesel?
Yes, sorry?
Carry on.
How was Frenchie's
Go on,
birthday?
Jen. Sorry?
How was Frenchie's birthday?
It was good. We had, flowers, cake. It was lovely.
Brilliant.
Jenna baked.
Jenna baked?
Yep.
Hi, Jenna.
No, she's not on the line.
She's not on the line. This is confusing enough without bringing Jenna into this. I don't care for Jenna either.
I was as surprised as the rest of us was that she
Guys,
baked.
we've just been handed the bill. We've just hit the $1,000 mark, the £9 mark.
Doesn't take long.
Well, guys, we hate to cut it short. We can probably leave you chatting off air. Can we? Probably can't. Can we? No, we absolutely
No,
can't.
we really can't.
We
And
absolutely
also,
cannot.
What an amazing cliffhanger we're going to leave this call at, because we still didn't find out how is Diesel and what did Jenna bake?
We don't
come back to this.
our mind is left to ponder the possibilities that maybe Diesel ate some of Jenna's leftovers. We don't know.
All right, Christina and Arthur, have a lovely weekend.
Hamish and Andy.
We're live around the UK and live in Australia right now as well. So in the UK, the 3 of us are waking people up.
Yep.
Well, hopefully. Or put them to sleep. And in Australia, you've already had your Friday. It's done.
Yeah.
Body of a dragon, head of a koala.
I love it. So now
we took the one dangerous bit off a dragon, which is the fire-breathing bit, and we chucked on a koala.
it's a beautiful hybrid.
Which is the least dangerous bit of a koala with the
Now,
fluffy
Not
ears.
if you're a leaf.
What we're about to do now is the trickiest bit.
Yeah.
Okay, because
sorry.
obviously, they've got 2 shows combined. That means we need 2 lots of news.
Yes.
The UK needs to know what is happening right now.
Yeah.
Okay, but Australia needs to know what's happening as well.
All the time.
Going into the weekend.
That's why people listen to our show.
So we're going to do world news. Okay, now I've got my news wingnut. He's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He basically reads it off the TV screen. I'll say that.
He's not going out to the scene and
you've
reporting
got-
it himself.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
No, he's
yeah.
not like that guy.
Yeah.
And you've got who we're going to hear from giving us news.
Kylie, who I would say is...
She does go to the scene of things.
Are you sure?
and
I thought it
report
was someone
herself.
called Crystal.
Have we got, yeah, Crystal's even better, which is
Why
great.
do I know more about your news?
You
reader?
cut us off. You cut us off.
I'm sorry.
Kylie will go out to the scenes of things, but we've caught her several times mucking around and eating a charity donut, which we also have in Australia. We sacked her. We brought in Crystal.
Yes.
Crystal makes the news. Nothing happening, she'll sink the euro. No celebrity scandals, she'll plan underpants on Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
She makes news.
Yeah.
But she also reports it factually.
Well saved. All right, let's try world news.
Combining the news resources of Absolute Radio in the UK
And Southern Cross Austereo in Australia.
This is the World News with Andrew Bailey
And Crystal Keller.
Well, let's start with the latest live from London, and the world's eyes are firmly on the UK as we count down to the greatest sporting event on the planet. Today, the Olympic flame arrives from Athens at Land's End on the far western tip of the United Kingdom. It comes as controversy continues about the official athletes' uniforms for both countries. Now, the Brits have chosen a sober black outfit for the formal occasions. The Aussies, well, they've gone for white trousers and green blazers. We asked people in London for their thoughts.
The Australian one's diabolical, isn't it? I mean,
Come on.
that team looks different class. Absolutely different gravy, I tell you.
They're really jowly and fast.
The kind of Australian kit looks like they just stepped off some sort of beach bar.
As bad as our lot look, the Aussies really do look like a right bunch of
Hang
drongos.
on. Are you trying to start a war?
I was about to say, we were doing so well the last half an hour.
Can we have our first walkout?
I told you he wasn't very good.
You have gone out to the street to incite racial violence against Australia.
Where did you get those stereotypes? Was that Guy Ritchie or Vinnie Jones? You
I
had?
reckon it's all the one guy doing 4 characters.
It's amazing. Didn't you realise it was racism on the half hour?
I know, sorry.
Crystal,
It was a sample of, of
Where's
British...
Crystal, I hope we've got some sort of racist English news coming up here. What's our news, Crystal?
I'll do my best. Making headlines in Australia, there's anger and sadness today from fans of Aussie kids supergroup The Wiggles after 3 of the original members decided to hang up their skivvies.
Because of English people. So, kids, it's England's fault. Just trying to level the score there.
Sorry, Crystal.
Parents have been left to explain to their kids why Greg, Murray and Jeff will be gone at the end of the year, replaced by the group's first ever girl member.
Can I just point out as well, what a lovely voice compared to Andrew's. I mean, if
you said that now, you didn't even know who was doing it.
Andrew's the voice of...
fallen in love. Is he prowling again?
The voice of cynicism, and suddenly Crystal just comes in reasonable, caring about kids. Yeah, exactly. Where all Andrew was interested in was just inciting some sort of inter-Commonwealth war.
Actually, he was just reporting the news. What your friend here, Crystal, has done, has given all the millions of children listen to me every morning. I'm like a father figure to them on the radio, giving them bad news about their favourite TV show is splitting up.
Yeah, and on top of that...
the UK cry,
on top of that, found out...
Kylie wouldn't have done this!
It's Andrew's fault.
Andrew, what's your next? Racist bit of
here we go. Next, Vegemite.
Dingo news.
Vegemite causes bowel inflammation. What have we got?
Something about Flamin' Hoons. No, it's all about the English Premier League Football Club, Liverpool over here. All our newspapers then into overdrive today about who will be the new manager after Kenny Dalglish left. Now, the club have been given permission to speak to the Wigan boss, Roberto Martinez, and it's believed they'll be talking to other candidates.
And pundits are hinting at the fact that Liverpool all went on an excursion to Australia to a petting zoo was the reason they didn't make the Champions League.
Crystal.
Back down under, Australia's MotoGP world champion Casey Stoner has decided to give the rest of the world a chance and quit the sport at just 26.
Hang on. Wiggles and Casey Stoner. Is anyone maintaining their global superiority?
Sorry, guys.
So basically, the news from Australia is everyone's quitting.
Everyone's jumping ship at the top of their game.
You guys enjoy the weekend, and of course you're done with the working week.
Yeah. And in other news, Jeffrey Rush hands back Oscars, says he was faking it.
Is Russell Crowe still working this weekend? Is he looking after Australia?
Crystal, some good news, please. Anything in the...
How is Stephen Dennis?
I can give you the weather. That's kind of mild.
Yeah,
and
rub
fine.
it in.
Okay, go for it.
Just give us Queensland. Just give us the good stuff to just rub it into London.
Fine in 24, of course, in Brisbane today.
24,000.
Sydney. Sydney, a sunny top of 21, showers in Melbourne, 18 the top, partly cloudy in Perth and Adelaide, showers and a cool top of 16 in Hobart. And for our country's capital, Canberra, sunny and 16 degrees.
That'll be sun showers in Melbourne and Hobart, by the way. Sun showers and rainbows, because it's a wonderful country.
Andrew, over here?
Yes, in the UK it's cloudy and rather cold for most of northern England and Scotland with some rain. Much brighter, though, as you head south towards London. Some warm sunny spells, perhaps the odd shower. Overall highs of 14 Celsius.
It's exactly the same every day, man. I mean, why do you even bother with that?
No, it doesn't. It's a beautiful sunny day.
It's 14. We usually just give the weather as 25 plus. You're counting specific numbers.
We
14.
need to in this country.
I know, mate. I've got my pants off. It's freezing.
Thank you very much, Crystal, okay?
Hamish and Andy.
Christian, we need to run something by you. We had a thought watching the torch relay start yesterday.
It's very big news here in London. Everyone's getting excited.
Very.
Not a lot of people. Did you watch the coverage last night? Not a lot of people turned out to watch the flame get handed over,
That's
did they?
because in this country, we are working. We've just heard from your news, the Wiggles are quitting, and Casey Kassim, or whatever it is quitting.
Casey Stoner, mate, world
Casey
champion.
Stoner.
Carry on.
Sounds like a kind of rapper or something.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants, mate, because he drives faster than anyone. Well, look, here's the thing. We watched the torch handover last night.
It was a bit lacklustre, I'll give you that.
They had to do that thing where you see in cheap television productions where they do very, very tight shots, shooting through people's shoulders to make it look like there's a crowd there.
Yeah.
Torch gets handed over. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are doing the same thing as everyone does. We've already done the Olympics, did it in Sydney, best ever.
Yeah.
But
until 2012, but yeah.
On the record,
we haven't seen what we're doing yet. We're spending 80 million.
I think history will
It's a monster truck show.
Do you want to continue the show? Are you doing the running around thing? Are you doing the relay?
Well, they call it a relay, mate.
The jog. But the thing is,
it's show off the flame.
BBC are going like the news coverage last night. They're going follow the flame. They're going right now. Go to our website. Follow the flame.
Look on Google Maps.
Live, right? I reckon you can take a day off.
Yeah.
It's going at a jog. I reckon if you check in on Monday, you probably don't need to look at it again till Friday. It's not going to cover too much distance. Ando and I, though, we saw the flame, we saw the majesty of this Olympic flame, and they get it out of a cauldron, put it on the torch, and then they give it to whoever starts the relay.
And we did the same thing as most Australians would, and probably Brits as well, is wouldn't it be lovely to have to taste a sausage
grilled with an Olympic flame?
So basically, you are confirming stereotypes we have that you guys just basically exist on barbecues.
and we're thieves. What we wanted to do is, and I'll take that back immediately. We're not convicts.
I'm supposed to be offending you
We've
guys.
learned our lesson. We do not want to steal the flame. We want the relay to continue as is. What's the big deal if we share the flame? If we borrow a piece of the flame, how would Britons react? Here's my loose plan at the moment. I get a fake hand, like off a mannequin. I douse it in kerosene. I run up alongside the flame, almost as if to.
You'd be going too fast. Jog or a brisk walk.
I power walk up beside the flame, almost to high five them.
And not one of the big moments where Beckham's carrying it.
Backcountry stuff. Upper, like around Scotland or something. I run up as if to high-five them, dip my hand in the flame, it ignites, I run back to Andy, he's got a gas burner, I put it on there, we hot-tail it back to London, we now have the Olympic flame that we can cook Olympic sausages on.
I see what you're doing here.
It's not stealing,
You're talking about sharing the flame.
Sharing the flame.
I'm then worrying now that a load of stoners are going to come out now and also want to light other things as well off this flame. You're just seeing it as one giant torch that people can light stuff off.
Is it theft? If you just share the flame. How have I stolen it if you've still got it?
The Olympics, for you guys, is over, okay?
And we nailed it.
All right? until July. And I know it must hurt because you got a glimpse of how amazing it's going to be yesterday with that lacklustre turnout, okay?
Yes.
We didn't want to peak too soon. That's why it looked like that yesterday to lure you guys and Beijing into a full sense of security.
Our question is
Athens has been ignored.
As a small sample size of one person being you, the only Brit we can talk to at the moment, would Britain be upset with us if we didn't steal but shared the flame?
Yes.
Okay.
It is ours. You can't have it. Okay?
We're not having it. We're keeping it in this country. It's not like we're sending it back to Australia and holding the other Olympics, which would be awesome.
No, the answer is no.
Casey Stoner would win because he's retired now.
No.
You're not letting us share the flame.
No, you can't have any of it.
You can't watch us 24/7. You can't. You can't watch us 24 hours a day.
We're going to, okay? If that's it, I'm going to watch you 24/7.
This is Hamish and Andy.
G'day, this is Cackling Jack at Hamish and Andy Central, and as if not to confuse this show anymore with so many voices on the podcast, but I'm here to tell you from Hamish and Andy, given me this to let you know that Amy save safe drivers up to 15%, which if you've heard the podcast before, of course you'd know, and we'd love to thank Amy keeping the podcast free always. And now, in this next bit, the Absolute Radio Breakfast Show with Kristen O'Connell have a regular who calls in by the name of Damon. He is putting on a fake Australian accent. But listen to Hamish and Andy squirm, trying to realise if it's real or fake. We'll join the show again now. Thanks to Amy, remember, and thanks to Safe Driver Rewards.
Now, listen, I've got a little thing that I wanted to pass on to you guys here before we go back to our news. We have a listener. It's a very loyal listener to our show in the UK, okay, but he's Australian, and he used to, when he was back home, be a big fan of your Drive Time show, when you used to actually do it 5 days a week.
Once a fan, always a fan. I mean, there's no...
Well, now you do, what is it, like 10 minutes once a week or something that you do on the phone?
Good 15, isn't it? If you cut out music and ads.
Anyway, he's been desperate all week. He's been emailing. His name is Damon Green. He's calling from the Oval. Damon, say hello to Hamish and Andy.
Hi guys.
Damon, how are you? Welcome to London and also at the same time, all of Australia.
Oh, well, that's great. You know, I go right back. Do you remember something Almost Tuesday you used to do?
It was even less work than the show we do now. It was from 10 till midnight on a Monday night called the Almost Tuesday Show.
A long time ago, but I really enjoyed it, and Rove and Real Stories on Network 10, sort of satirical stuff.
Damon, let's just try and keep it relevant to everybody in the UK as well. I mean, they don't know our history of songs, but thankfully...
I think even for a lot of people in Australia, my mum included, some of the things you referenced there she wouldn't be aware of.
Are you reading off Wikipedia?
No, it was really good, sort of satirical. I mean, these guys have won, well, what they're called ACRAs back home, and there's a kind of success that...
Tell him, Damo.
Huh?
Tell him, because, I mean, the actual radio awards were here this week, in fact. I believe it was Monday night or Tuesday.
Those up.
It was the Sony Radio Awards. They're huge. I mean, the ACRAs are nothing to sneeze at.
Australian Commercial Radio Awards.
You've got like awards coming out, out everywhere.
Mate,
you've won a lot of awards.
When we tell you what Christian won the best breakfast show came. He got silver for the best.
Second.
I'm not interested. Anyway, what I wanted to do was basically, I've been waiting for you guys to come on the show quite a while because for a lot of Aussies, basically you touched on it before, it can be quite cold and lonely in London. I've written a witty ditty.
Have you written your own parody song?
I think he's written a poem for you.
A poem. Wow. It's called Voices from Home. It's only short. Can I? Would you mind if I read?
Even if it was 3 times longer, and I say that without even knowing the length, we'd be happy to hear it. Go for it.
Okay. Here we go. Hamish Blake and Andy Lee, two of the greatest guys you'll see. Comedy skits to make your day, a taste of Oz while I'm far away. Yeah. English people can be cold to me. I'd like to make some friends, but you see, English friends are hard to find, but your Aussie voices help me unwind. I have felt desperate sometimes, I could cry, but what do you care, Damon? Where, what, how, why? I've written jokes for Christian before. He said, Damon, they're all very poor.
Keep going,
I'd like to contribute to your show. I write jokes and humorous rhymes, don't you know? I could appear on your show on, say, a casual basis. No blue jokes or nothing racist. What do you say, guys? I'm sure I can be funny. Something cheeky about being in the dunny.
I thought you said nothing blue.
Andy Lee and Hamish Blake, give me a spot on your show for goodness sake. So as you can see, I've got a snappy wit.
Sorry, Dan, I didn't know it ended. I thought, as you could see, was still tough.
to play applause there. A sound effect would have been nice.
Brilliant. I'm sorry that you found the English people so cold.
Yeah.
I'm sure Christian would like to apologise for that.
Well, Damon, all I say is you kind of put the guys on the spot here, which is a bit unfair, and I'm not sure if they will be signing up, but it was a lovely poem.
A permanent, but just
he said casual.
Contributing every now and then.
He said casual.
I didn't hear them offer you anything. I thought it was quite rude how they just sort of snubbed you there. There was a
we're getting to the offer. I thought I'd let you do your apology first because he did have a go directly at the hostility of English
Damon,
people.
how offensive. I'm offended for you.
I want you to stay on the line. I want you to stay on the line, Damon. We want to get your details because next week when we go back to doing
they're being really flaky here, Damon. They're not off the air. This is
O'Connell. This is classic O'Connell.
No, this is classic Hamish and Andy. Breaking your heart on the way home.
We're going to have you on the show next week. We're going to have you on an Australian show. England doesn't deserve to hear you.
What you said?
And I think, Damon, you're on next week, and I think you're so special. I reckon a one-off appearance rather than a regular thing.
They're being cruel here, Damon.
You don't need to take the mickey. I've phoned up in good faith to do a poem.
Yeah.
And this is just a sort of attitude.
Yeah.
Why I left Oz in the first place.
We want you on the show next week. We want it, but we've got to have a different poem for everyone.
I mean, they're doing a show now, and they don't want you on this one.
On the show.
Well, he's already done a poem today. I mean, we've got to get to the
They're trying to bump you off. They give me the sign to bump you off.
Who is Damon?
Who is Damon?
Oh, yeah, this is not
This is not... Damon, you're not real.
Stay on the line, Damon. Stay on the line. We do want to get your details. We want another poem next week for our show. I don't know if... we're saying yes. I don't know if it's a yes
Damon,
from Christian.
I'm sorry about this. You come on, meet your radio...
I have phoned up and I've written a poem and you bloody laughing and shove it. You can shove it. You can stick it up, you bloody bum nugget.
I thought you said no blue. You said no blue.
To see the video footage, go to hamishandandy.com.
Listen, I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't know who put that caller through. I hope we're all cool still for this
Christian,
show.
we have since discovered off-air, for people that have just tuned in, moments ago we had a caller called Damon on the show. Sounded like a big fan.
One of your own.
I believe someone, and it might have been you, Christian, said it. You're reading this off Wikipedia, and I now, having looked at our Wikipedia page, I'm almost positive he was.
No, listen.
It's your mate.
No.
We have to
Damon
say
Green.
this.
He's a friend of mine and now a friend of yours.
We have to say this for our Australian listeners. He is not
Yes,
a real
he is.
person.
Yes, he is.
Bum Nuggets is not the kind of thing a real person says.
Damon Green is real. How very dare you?
We've since found out that all yesterday here in London on Christian's radio show, he's going, we're going to get him to call up in the morning. We're going to get Damon Green call up and weird out the boys. Andy and I are sitting here feeling like we were trying to be very fair to give a young poet.
Well, the way you kept both glaring at me like, get rid of him.
Not get rid of him, but just going, Stop saying we're not giving him a go. We've said he can be on the show next week. I would have thought, to be honest, off the quality of the poem, that's a huge gig.
Now, Christian, I mean, we had an opener, a bit of a big jingle for the start.
That is the greatest jingle anyone's ever made for me in like 13 years in radio. Thank you.
You were in charge of the second hour.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest, I did plan to put a lot of time and effort into this, but it's been kind of a busy week. And
sure,
I went
you got Damon to organise, to stitch us up.
And I used that time actually going to see The Avengers, which is a great movie, so all I really had time was just to cobble this together using the finance guy.
Hang on, sorry, can I get this straight? This is a history-making show. We're broadcasting live in the UK. We're live in Australia at the moment. We're across the globe. We're bigger than the World Service. 2 shows become one, and it's not...
It's been a busy week. Have a listen to this.
You're listening to Christian O'Connell in the morning. He's got his pants on. And you're with Hamish and Andy.
No, it's Hamish.
With Hamish and Andy driving you home, and they got their pants down.
No, it's pants off. Pants off Friday.
Take it back, it's good. It's really good.
Okay, when we come back from this, the boys have set up an amazing competition. Hang on, not amazing, the very opposite of that.
Yeah, Damon, not real, just to clarify.
He is!
To you.
Hamish and Andy.
Haim, this is probably our moment to shine.
This is the highlight of the show, Ando. As if very graciously granting, turns out, fake caller Damon a poem on next week's show wasn't already a beautiful gesture from Australia. Yeah. We now bring to you the greatest radio contest ever devised. A few weeks ago when we thought, could we combine our show and your show, Christian, together in an Australian-UK trans-global
live
world record-breaking, not world-breaking, keep the world intact because that's the globe we're broadcasting across. Could we do it? Yes, we can. You came to us and said, look, we've got to sponsor Thomas Cook and we're going to give away a trip to Australia.
Yeah, that's in half an hour's time. It's going to be huge.
Now, we came up with quite the game that I think Cook and his mates...
Too big for Cook. Too big for Thomas Cook.
Didn't want.
No.
But...
And to be honest, nor did I.
This is weird. This is weird because you're a radio professional. We've at least been around them long enough to know that the order you should do things is something a bit dodgy, then something great.
Yes.
So it's a bit weird that we're doing the great thing now, and then the Thomas Cook, win a trip to Australia thing's coming up a little bit later on.
Thomas Cook after dinner mint is coming up.
And the roast pig that is this competition, we will now devour live before your ears.
It has an opener. We'll play that and then we'll explain the game.
Whatever is said, just hear the accent and then pick it. There's a rodent in the hood. I pick the rat, I pick the rat, I pick the rat if you could.
Yes, everybody, it's time for Pick the Rat.
Pick the Rat. It's been much touted. There's been a lot of talk about Pick the Rat, but how? I can hear London, and I don't want to alienate our Australian listeners by naming landmarks and stuff around London, but all up Central Road and Main Street here in London, they are just crying.
What Monopoly board have you played?
I guess I've just fit in. All over the central area of London, everyone's just screaming, tell us how to play Pick the Rat. We love the name.
Okay.
And you're going to love the prizes when we tell you what we've got on offer.
Because we can get callers here on 13 10 60 if you're in Australia and something...
Is that even a phone number?
Sorry,
13 10 16.
What's the final digits?
It's the lottery numbers.
Sorry, yours is the final digits of pi.
0330 123 12 15 recurring.
Because we can get both calls at the same time, this is how the game happens.
Yeah.
It's the public versus us three. This is where we've got to band together. What we want is we're going to pick 2 Australian listeners. They're going to call in 13 10 60 with regular Australian accents. And then we need 1 London listener with a regular British accent also in the mix. When we come back after this song, 3 of them will be lined up.
Yeah.
They'll all have to say one phrase.
Mate, I don't know whose bum nugget that is. Well, I mean, you introduced us to that phrase with fake caller Damon, which was there was the black mark on the show, which happened approximately 20 minutes ago.
They will each get a chance to say that phrase once, right?
In an Australian or non-Australian accent?
No,
Well, all in an
all
Australian
trying
accent.
to do
I've
an
got
Australian
you.
accent.
And
So
we've got to
easy-
guess.
The one British person who's doing an Aussie accent is the rat.
And we got to spot. Oh,
We
this
have
is,
to. We have to.
This
pick,
is terrible.
We have to pick the rat.
What do we win?
I'm really glad you asked, Ando.
If the rat is successful, meaning we do not pick the British person putting on an accent,
That's a victory for rats.
and they will all win cheese.
All three callers win cheese.
Right.
If we are successful...
So we are sending via airmail today cheese to Australia.
That's all right. It's already. It's been around for. We'll send it in a rind or whatever. It's not going to go off.
If the rat wins, we do. But if our three minds, beautiful minds combined, can pick out which Londoner is trying to put on an Australian accent, it's a victory for humans, and we'll send all three competitors mousetraps.
Because a victory for humans is a loss for rats. So we put 3 more mousetraps into circulation.
Oh my God, the phones have lit up.
Phones have gone
They are,
crazy.
seriously.
I'm just looking outside at Middle Street here in London.
There is no Middle Street.
They're going crazy.
Whatever is said, just hear the accent and then pick it. There's a rodent in the hood. I pick the rat. I pick the rat. I pick the rat if you could.
What I love about the opener is it's actually singing to us.
Yeah.
Because we're the guys.
I have to be honest, we did actually have a meeting this week where we talked about what we would do on this 2-hour show.
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest, about an hour was about this.
Yes.
At least. And it was an hour and 10 minutes.
With a marker board, writing down the rules of it all.
I will put at our website, I'll give it to you guys.
You
put it
took
at
a
your
picture
website.
of it, yes.
I will pick. I've got the moment where Christian is pointing to a bit on a whiteboard that says
Like
"Pick the rat,"
Churchill.
and because we were underground here at Absolute Radio, the flash went off and it made your eyes light up like a rat.
Demented.
All right, for people who don't know this game...
Which is everyone.
Well, if there's anyone out there, they're probably logged on to pittherat.org and they've been following it for years. We've got 3 listeners. 2 of them will be from Australia with Australian accents. 1 will be from London with trying to put on an Australian accent. We don't know which one's which. The job is for them to say one phrase.
The phrase is, mate, I don't know whose bum nugget that is. That's inspired by fake caller Damon.
It's a real caller.
He's not, and we can't stress that enough.
He is.
The black mark that was on this show at 7:55 UK time, 4:55 Australian time.
The beauty of this is you can play along in your cars or wherever you may be.
So you've got to guess who's the fake Australian accent.
Yes, we'll be doing the picking of the rats.
Yep.
I can't believe it's happening.
Richard's up first.
Go for it, Richard. You're only allowed to say the phrase. We will not say anything else to you.
Mate, I don't know whose bum nugget that is.
Thank you, Richard.
Okay.
Was it
Ponder
being
that
put
one.
on too thick, or is that just the way he talks? Even to Australian ears, that could have been a rat.
Let's have a listen to Steph.
Mate, I don't know whose bum nugget that is.
She's rat free. That's Australian.
You
That's
sure?
as an Australian as a
No,
an Australian.
She's a hustler.
That's a koala wearing a cork hat. We're not being hustled by Steph.
With corrugated iron blundstones. All right, let's have a listen to James.
Mate, I don't know whose bum nugget that is.
That's bloody Australian, Andy.
Yeah, I reckon that's.
I think that was Craig McLaughlin. Or check 1 2.
All right, which is coming up soon. Shock the McLaughlin, another contest we can play here on the show. Look, I am tentatively drawing a piece of cheese next to Richard, our first caller.
How do you feeling over there, Christian?
I think it's Steph.
You really think Steph?
Yeah, I think it's Steph.
Lady rat. It'd be our first lady rat.
Yeah, a sexy rat.
Well, no one mentioned she was sexy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because 50% of rats are women, and I'm worried if you find them sexy.
I'm leaning towards Steph as well.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, if it's 2-1, guys, bearing in mind, a lot rides on this. If we get it right, 3 mouse traps go out into the population and more rats will die.
Yeah.
If we get it wrong, we have to reward them all with cheese. Now, that's why I'm urging you not to take this lightly.
Do you know what? I'm going back to Richard.
Oh,
wow!
Yes.
This is why the game is amazing!
Well, no, it's not amazing. This is the stinkiest thing I've ever done on the radio. It's terrible.
Jeez. Do you want to come across to Steph now, Ham?
I'm holding firm on Richard.
No, I think it's Richard. Yeah.
Okay, we're going...
It's a huge swing.
All right, we're going with 2
Let's
to
all
1.
go for the dick.
Okay.
My head is on the line here.
Okay, Richard, are you the rat?
I'm from Liverpool. I'm the
Richard, you have won yourself a mousetrap. Steph James, you're getting the same.
Everyone, it's a victory for humans and a loss for rats. 3 mousetraps will roll off the production line at 9:01 UK time as soon as the mousetrap factory opens.
It's Hamish and Andy driving you home. The Christian O'Connell Breakfast Show, waking up UK.
Hamish and Andy.
So we're about to get in now to world news.
Yes, as this show goes out live to Australia as well as England, the only sensible way to do it was to give everyone the news that they want to listen to.
There's not a lot of stuff about Japan or Africa or... I mean, we say world news, but as a spoiler alert, it's going to predominantly
It's like the World
feature...
Series they have in America.
It's going to
open
feature
to America.
It's going to feature Australian and English stuff pretty heavily.
So, obviously, Andrew Bailey does the news on my show, and then doing the news, giving us Australian news live from Melbourne, we have...
Crystal the Pistol, the news pistol.
Because you've forgotten her surname.
Yeah, well, no, it is the pistol. It's Czechoslovakian.
Combining the news resources of Absolute Radio in the UK
and Southern Cross Stereo in Australia.
This is World News with Andrew Bailey
and Crystal Keller.
Hello, it's Crystal Keller with what's making headlines down under. England isn't the only nation feeling the pinch. Aussie public servants have been told to BYO tea and coffee and drive instead of flying on work trips, an extraordinarily tight-ass move from the Queensland government. Indoor plants will also be removed as part of the money-saving crackdown, and there'll be no more sandwiches in meetings.
Crystal, I thought we talked about this last hour. Make us look good. This news is going to all of the UK, and now public servants aren't allowed to eat or drink.
It's not just that, it was the phrase, in a tight-ass move.
That's what we say down under.
Crystal, are you with the work experience teenager doing this?
It's the tight-ass Legislative Act of 2012 Amendment C.
We're loose down under, Christian.
There you go.
And I want that to be the quote of the show.
There you go, Andrew.
We've only just met. I haven't even bought you a drink.
Andrew, take it away.
Yes, I'll bring it back on track. And dry your eyes, Australia. Danny Minogue is not moving to the UK. She was rumoured to be returning for the X Factor, but looks like she's this morning turned down the opportunity
and this
to
is the lead news story, Andrew.
The judging panel. Well, I'm trying to keep both of our countries happy. It is thought that guest stars will now have to stand in until a new permanent mentor is found.
But Danny Minogue not allowed to have sandwiches or tea as she remains in Australia.
I've got a bit of a scoop for you, Andrew. Danny Minogue is staying in Australia to host the TV version of Pick the Rat.
Where she will ply herself on free cheese.
Crystal.
In sport, true dedication from Aussie cricket captain Michael Clarke, who's put his honeymoon on hold to begin his preparation for the upcoming one-day tour in England. Just 3 days after his top-secret wedding, he and his new model wife are jetting off to India, where he'll play in the IPL on Sunday. The pair will then holiday in London before he gets down to the business of thrashing the Poms next month.
Very good. Factual. That's how we like the news.
Thrashing the Poms.
Flaying the Poms. Crushing the Poms. Whatever you want. She's allowed to pick her adjectives or her verbs.
Andrew, what have you got for us in sport?
Well, over here, looks like former England manager Fabio Capello could be returning to English football. Chelsea have spoken to the Italian about becoming manager. That's despite the fact that Roberto Di Matteo has taken them to the Champions League final. There are also rumours, though, that Liverpool are circling him too after the departure of boss Kenny Dalglish this week.
Sounds like a lot of confusion here in the UK. No one knows quite what's going on, whereas our cricket captain knows exactly where his priorities lie. That's what I took away from the news.
And he's moved back his honeymoon.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, they say he's holidaying in London, which you wouldn't count as the perfect destination for a honeymoon.
Last half hour of the show and the gloves are off.
Speaking of which, Thomas Cook coming up next gives you the chance to escape London and go to Australia.
Hamish and Andy.
I'm nervous for you, Christian, because this is a contest that Absolute Radio here in the UK is running. It's got the big honour here of giving away a tailor-made holiday from Thomas Cook. In normal circumstances, this would be very exciting.
You think we peaked with the rat?
Fortunate thing for you is we've already played Pick the Rat, and everyone's head is still spinning that history was made and the rat was picked.
Hot off a 3 mousetrap giveaway.
You now.
Well, it's hard. I do feel the pressure, you know, and I know that obviously offering up potentially then, this is how it's going to work then. Every single day this week, thanks to Thomas Cook, we've been getting listeners into the studio and they've been winning trips and going all over Europe. Now's the big one. So we're going to play Australia versus England.
Yeah.
If the Australia caller wins, okay, then they get to come to London.
Is it the first time on your show you've ever given away a trip to London? Potentially. And Mary, where are you from? I'm from London. Well, you're coming twice. You're going to come here again.
And if the English caller wins, which I'm sure will happen, then they get to go to Australia. I'm guessing you guys would recommend what, Melbourne?
Oh, all over. Yeah. You get a caravan. Do a lap of honour.
Nothing could be classier than a caravan.
Well, we're simple folk. Can't all gallop around the streets of London on gold-plated horses. You heard the news. We can't even have sandwiches in Parliament.
OK, so you need to call him right now if you fancy playing 0330 123 1215. We have someone... That phone number is... They love the phone.
It's longer than landlines in Australia. It's the solution to the kind of... It's like if someone just run in at NASA and gone, give me the distance in centimetres to Jupiter.
0330 123 1215.
Get halfway through. I'm positive you're saying it.
Sometimes I do.
I'm positive you're saying it differently every time.
Sometimes Christian stops for a glass of water because his mouth's so dry.
0665 hash. Is there a hash in it? What's the number, guys?
Jerry in Wimbledon, good morning.
Good morning.
And good evening, Melinda in Victoria.
Good evening.
Melinda, how are you feeling? I mean, it was touted just before that song that whoever wins this contest goes and stays with the other person when they get to the other country.
That's not confirmed.
That's not Thomas Cook's directive. We're just spitballing here. How would you feel about that, Melinda?
Well, I have a spare bedroom, so I'm open to anything.
Oh, there you go.
It's actually, now I think this through more, it's like you didn't win and you lost because
you have to house
you don't get a holiday
a foreigner.
And you now have to have a housemate. But that's the Aussie spirit there, Melinda. Something we're hearing a lot of this morning on the show. Really heartwarming stuff. Jerry in Wimbledon, would you be happy to have Melinda over?
That'd be a ripper.
Now,
are you married,
a little bit too eager, but
yeah, I was about to say.
Jerry and Melinda, I should point out that we have on good authority that if the next Ashes series is a draw, this will decide it. They're not
It's going to be a quiz. And Thomas Cook are really praying for a draw because it's a huge coup for them to then have cricketers going and staying at each other's houses internationally on their coin.
Now, we start by asking Jerry, the Brit, an Australian-based question. Take it away, Ham.
It's best out of 3, Jerry. Assuming you've heard radio quizzes before. If not, again, welcome to history as well as the transcontinental broadcast. All right, Jerry, in all seriousness, because this is for a trip, what's Australia's longest-running soap shown in the UK?
Oh, I just jump on Google.
I'll try with Flying. I think it's Flying Doctors or Neighbours.
Doctors or Neighbours?
Flying Doctors or Neighbours.
Oh.
What are you going to go for, Jerry?
Neighbours.
You've bloody got it. Reluctantly, you've got it.
One to England. So let's try Melinda now. Melinda. So I've got some British questions for you. Okay. What is Australia... Oh, no, I've done that one. It's going well.
No, fair's fair. You started the question. Give it to her.
What does... That's enough, Melinda. What does apples and pears mean in Cockney rhyming slang? Apples and pears, what does it mean in Cockney rhyming slang?
Oh, my gosh.
Don't know if you've seen Dick Van Dyke or any of his work.
Apples and pears.
It's like a rhyming slang.
Apple and pears. I don't know, bread and jam? I've got no idea.
Because it rhymes.
That's a very... I don't know if you'd make it as a rapper.
Rhyming slang, the key there, rhyming.
All right.
Sorry, Melinda.
Sorry, Melinda.
Stairs.
Sorry, not looking good for the Ashes.
It's stairs. And look, you picked a very stereotypical question there. We refuse to stereotype Britons as just all Cockney people. That's why we never learn rhyming slang.
Oh.
All right, Jerry. I'm going to ask this one hard. The Australian flag shows the Union Jack and how many stars?
It's 5.
That's incorrect.
Treason upon the colonies.
You're getting shipped back to Australia.
It's actually 6.
Well, you're not going to be shipped back to Australia because that's the prize.
Oh, yeah,
The more Australian...
Melinda.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good luck with this question, okay? Good luck, Melinda. The Rover's Return is the name of a fictional pub in which British soap opera? The Rover's Return is the name of a fictional pub in which British soap opera?
Oh, gosh.
Bearing in mind, it won't be bread and jam as the answer. Because we've already had that as one answer guess.
Thanks for the tip.
Just name any British soap opera.
Okay, I'm going to take a punt. I've got no idea if it's still running, but I'm going to say EastEnders.
Oh, that's incorrect.
Oh, dear.
Which means that if Jerry gets this one right, he's
coming to you guys.
Yes.
He's coming to your house, Melinda. Conditions apply.
Okay, no problems.
Okay.
That's what a spirit. I feel like we should just give it to Melinda.
Okay, Ham, ask of Jerry.
Jerry, your last question was about stars in the flag. This is about stars in real life.
Okay,
or on
come
film.
on, mate. You're not on.
All right, Hugh Jackman.
To be a millionaire.
Hugh Jackman.
Space this thing out.
It's really milking.
I want to make this hard for Jerry. What's the sequencing of Hugh Jackman's DNA? No, here we go. Hugh Jackman is one of the lead roles in Australia. Which Australian actress took the other role?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Fair enough, it was long. Hugh Jackman, he was one of the lead roles in the film Australia. What Australian actress took the other role?
Is it Nicole Kidman?
He's got it. But you're going to Melinda's house!
Hey, Jerry, well done. Doing it for England. You have won.
Look at that. Thomas Cook has done what his great-great-grandfather, Captain Cook, has done and sent another Briton to Australia.
Jerry, well done. You've won the trip to go to Australia and, of course, stay with Melinda. She's got that spare bedroom. And some bread and jam ready for you as well.
But Melinda, we have 3 wheels of cheese left over from Pick the Rat earlier in the show, and we are going to make sure you get at least one of those wheels.
Oh, you're very generous. Thanks, Hamish.
It's an absolute pleasure, Melinda. You did bloody well.
Have a lovely weekend. Thanks for taking part and tough luck.
It's hard with the delay. Because it amplifies the disappointment.
Hamish and Andy.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning here in London. It's coming up to 6 o'clock in Australia. Your show, you got another. You go till 10, and you started at 6 a.m. So you're on for an hour before we joined you, and you'll keep going, and we're just ships in the night. But for us, this has been our whole work week. For you, this has been half a Friday.
Christian, it's been so much fun that's happened throughout this show that I don't feel that you and I, or the 3 of us, have really got a chance to catch up. This often happens to Hamish and I at the end of our week, of our Friday show, and so we just tend to relax. Put a little bit of jazz on, and then just...
That's it. And just start a bit of jazz chat. It's a good way for 2 and now 3 friends to catch up.
Christian and Ham.
Yeah, what's up, mate?
Mainly directed at Christian, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Just backing away.
If you saw the Queen stealing a Susan Boyle CD at a store, would you make a citizen's arrest?
On
the Queen.
On the Queen. Yeah, I would, yeah.
That's good to know.
Damn. I was planning on dressing up as the Queen and going and stealing a lot of stuff this afternoon.
No good. I'll get you out of it.
My question is to you...
No, we're just catching up. Doesn't have to be questions.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's just jazz chat. You can just chat if you want. You can just tell us if you've got a tight hamstring. If that's it, that's it. Just chat.
How has it been for you doing the last 2 hours with the 2 of you with no pants on?
And just the same as it always is, relaxing, heading into the weekend. We're heading in, obviously, to the work day here in London.
And it's far quicker changing into your discotheque gear when you get home later on at night.
Discotheque gear? You guys are going out clubbing now?
We go from denim to sequins every Friday.
You're aware it's 9 in the morning here. I know in Australia now it's sort of 6 o'clock in the evening.
Isn't there a club called Prowl around the corner we're going to take Andy to?
That's it, Prowler. You saw it earlier, yes. Gentleman with his handlebar moustache is waiting for the door on you right now.
Taking Endo straight there. Hey boys. Sorry not to cut the jazz off, but sometimes people say jokingly, I won't bite. Do you reckon they're the people most likely to bite you at some point?
If I wasn't going to bite someone, I'd definitely tell them. Sorry, if I was going to bite someone, I'd definitely tell them I wasn't.
But then you'd be a very bad vampire.
Yeah, it excludes vampires. Yeah, I've seen that rule. That goes without saying. Yeah.
Christian, and Haim.
Yeah, what's up, mate?
Can you still buy Mayfair for £400, or have prices increased for that street?
If you paid that, I feel you got ripped off. I don't know if that's a legal deed.
Right.
Mayfair in this country isn't just the area, and of course on a Monopoly board, it's a top-shelf gentleman's magazine, and only costs you, I believe, £3.95.
But you can put a hotel on it.
Stop boasting to the ladies. This is for both of you, really.
What's up, Big C?
How do you make ends meet and pay all the bills back home? You've both got very desirable homes. You're engaged on working 2 hours a week.
You know how there's that box of donuts there? There won't be in 10 minutes. We thieve. We thieve from the radio station quite a lot.
Hence the question about the Queen and stealing our Olympic thought.
It's all we're interested in. We want Mayfair for cheap, and we're trying to steal Susan Ball Steedy's dress as the Queen. One last bit of chat before Andy and I get out of here and we leave you to your last hour of your show, Christian. And thanks again for having us.
Yeah.
I've got the strangest feeling, and these are very rarely wrong. You know how Dyson reimagined the vacuum cleaner, then they reimagined the hand dryer?
Yeah,
with the Dyson blade. We're huge fans of the blade. Yeah. And then they reimagined the desk fan with that hoop thing. Yeah. I think they're going to have a crack at toilets next.
Wait, what are they going to do?
I don't know if it's some sort of air system, if it's like an air cyclone that whizzes around the toilet, if it's a dry toilet, the typhoon. So I don't know. They haven't told me anything, but I just got a vibe they're going to reimagine the toilet.
So it's certainly not a spoiler alert, is it?
It's more of a, if they do it, I want 50%. It's more of a patent hunch. Great new segment, by the way. 9:15 coming up on Absolute Radio. Patent hunches. I almost feel like we should stick around just exclusively here on Absolute.
We can. I've still got another hour to do.
No, we're just joking. We're going to go home. Okay, thanks, mate.
We should thank everybody for listening across the UK today, as well as all of Australia. HamishNandy.com for anything you may have missed today's show. You can actually podcast it at our website, HamishNandy.com, or Christian, they may choose to podcast it at your one.
Thank you very much. Yeah, if you head over to absoluteradio.co.uk/breakfast, you will find lots of pictures, the video of today's show as well. Australia, thank you very much for listening to this unique radio show. We've loved doing it.
This has been so much fun.
I hope it's worked for everyone.
To the UK, thank you for having us. It's so weird, must be so weird for you that this is like 75% of the way through your show and it's the goodbye. But thank you to everyone listening here in the UK and Absolute, and of course everyone listening at home and all the people that made it possible. And going back to bed. Right.
That was the Hamish and Andy Show podcast, powered by Amy. Lucky you're with Amy.